Hello and welcome everyone. This is the Collegiate Chess League Summer 2025 brought to you by our sponsor Susquehanna. My name's Joe and we have the Week 3 prize arena of the summer. Let's dive right in. We've got the games already started. This arena lasts for 90 minutes. So you can join still and have over an hour of some 5+2 blitz. Looks like this first game, we have two players who actually competed in the Bullet Chess Championship that happened last week, or last weekend rather. It looks like Black is queening and winning. We might see a resignation. These players still in bullet mode. As you can tell, they've barely spent any time off their clock. This is a 5+2 game. Both players still over 4 minutes, but this game is definitely soon to be very much over. Yeah, Black's just going to bring their king in. White's king is going to be pried from the pawn. It's going to be a big check there. Another check here, forcing the king to the edge of the board. Here we have resignation. So Eden Assassin from Canada getting the win over Mona Lisa from South Africa. I want to say that's Witwatersrand University. Let's check out the next game that we have here. Black Hawk, also from the Bullet Championship, I believe from Northern Illinois University in Chicago, or near Chicago, perhaps. Playing against Sprout God, also from Canada. Also, by the way, we do have prizes for the top 5 clubs every week, but also prizes for the top 10 clubs over the entire summer season. And Syracuse looks to be on top right now. Hey, Brown Dante. Good to see you. Welcome in. All right, there's a potential queen trade, but Black is completely winning with this pawn on d2. White has back rank issues. Rook is coming to e1. That's going to threaten a checkmate on g1, just winning the queen, winning the game. And you can't really take because Black will then make a second queen. And last time I checked, 2 queens are better than 1. So this should be an easy win for Black Hawk. Sprout God with white pieces resigns there, moves on to their next game. A wise choice. Looks like we're up to 35 players. Your club for next week, Brown Dante. Okay. I see Gavin is playing for Missouri State, but they're joined under the Collegiate Chess League, it seems. Yeah, I tried adding Missouri State. That was not easy to do, unfortunately. Let me check out the next game. Let me look up your club, Brown Dante. Did you fill out the form? I'm going to take a wild guess and say no. SRM TRP. It's too late now, but I can add you for next week. I think that's what you wanted anyways, right? Hopefully. Yeah. Or maybe I could still add your club. Let's see. SRM TRP. Alright, well, if you have an admin, they can accept it. Anyways, secret photo here, playing against Austin McMurtry. 1800 versus 1900. Rook's doubled opposite the king. We have a knight versus a bishop. I would say this is probably a bad bishop and a good knight on light squares. Bishop maybe asking to get traded, but tucks back. If this knight could get here, maybe that'd be annoying. If it would love to get here. I don't see how it could do that though. So we'll see. The rook gets asked the question, and it answers with a threat. So the king steps off the f-file. "30 seconds for white, 40 for black. Should be a draw. Bishop lining up discoveries, again, asking for a trade. You could have considered taking that bishop and double isolating black's pawns, but they decided not to do that. So rook steps up, threatens to win the pawn. King steps up to defend. Yeah, EWC, I think it's like last chance qualifiers, maybe. "20 seconds for both sides. White's trying to play on the queen side, but gives themselves an isolated pawn, and black as well can play on both sides. Yeah, I think this knight should have rerouted. Going for it now. This pawn is a liability. Less than 10 seconds now. Knight does hit the pawn. How to defend with one of these three pieces. No, not this one. So one of these two. Ooh. Attacks that, defends that, and now the bishop can come back. And now the king moves. This king moves. This king moves. 12 seconds for both sides. Pawn push. Waiting moves now for both sides. Black's trying to make progress. Trades. Pawn push. Maybe a check is given. Traded. King steps back. Now this knight wants to come in. Maybe go here. Ooh, that's a rook. Whoops, I missed that as well. Now the pawn breaks through. This is a pin. Maybe not. Takes, the rook can infiltrate. Rook's coming here. Or here. Or here. Yeah, white's winning now. So it looked like it was an even position, but then white prevailed. Offering a trade here. Yeah, white's going to convert this. 2 seconds, 1 second. Trade. Bishop's hit. Pawn is snagged. Another pawn. Or this. Or push. Probably take and push. Not the cleanest technique I've ever seen. There it is. All right, we might see resigns now. There it is. Well done. All right, let's take a look at the next game here. Let's see. Yeah, Witwatersrand's looking good. Syracuse has a lot of players, which is probably a large part of their success last week. But they are currently ranked 5th. Top 5 is definitely good. Here, Dando looks like they're winning. They're from University of Houston. Shout out to the Cougars. Garlock the Destroyer from South Africa, from Witwatersrand. Looking for their first point, but they've dropped a queen. So that is not good. Actually, I lied. Black just has the really deep pass pawn on e3. White's making some strong threats, though. You could trade queens and win this knight, and maybe even win more. So we'll see if black can convert. That's a big check. You could, in theory, block. That's not a good block because now Dan can trade queens and then win the knight with the fork on the rook as well. So we have the queen coming in, adding more pressure, missed the trade. Also defends the knight. So yeah, you don't want to put yourself into these situations for sure. So what can be done now? I mean, maybe we go here. It does drop that. Maybe take here, but that's probably not good either. Garlock sounds to me like Gorlock, which is the mascot for Webster University here in St. Louis. Okay, shout out to Wilfrid Laurier. We've got Oregon State, LCM Toro, Northern Illinois. We've got School of Planning and Architecture. Yes, the bishop comes back to defend the knight. But now the rook is hanging. Shout out to, looks like Minnesota State and Appalachian State, as well as Queens College. So we've got at least 10 schools competing right now. Okay, rook hits the queen. Black's playing a very solid game. Queen keeps an eye on the rook, or on the knight. Sorry, not on the rook. We'll see if black trades and takes, or if they take right away, or perhaps they'll miss everything. If white's given an extra move, which looks like they are, they can save the rook. So they can trade rooks. Queen here actually doesn't save the rook, unfortunately. This also creates a threat. So black is definitely incentivized to take. White might trade queen. You definitely can't take with a... I mean, you could take with a knight, but you're going to lose... Oh, that's probably a mouse slip here. So that's a free queen. And resigns. Yeah. Okay. So rough start for the Garlock. not to be confused with the Gorlock. All right, what's our next game? We've got Dark Coffee and JS. Looks like Dark Coffee won this game with a nice checkmate. Yep, Mona Lisa getting another win. Let's check in on the Master of Sleep, another streamer, up against Austin. Austin has a Paris profile picture, but has a US flag. They're from NIU. And they look to be doing well here. Bad pawn structure for the Master of Sleep. One pair of rooks traded. Offering a rook trade, trying to fix the pawn structure. Check. Declines the trade. I like this move. It's a nice try. But yeah, not giving up the idea, just taking on a2. Trade. Or taking with check actually is very smart. This is also a good move here from white. Attacking the pawn. Rook here I think would have been smart. But now white can take this pawn. Ooh. They moved the bishop instead. Actually, yeah, that would have been a nice skewer. This knight takes away these moves from the king. So bishop guards this check as well. Yeah, smart move from white. Black would have had me fooled, for sure. I would have lost my bishop and grabbed the pawn. So white's staying in there, for sure. Witwatersrand really really taken away from the standings here. So black is up a pawn, but white is fighting on. Bad pawns though. What pawns they do have. Ooh, this is a blunder though. White's back in it. Oh, but opportunity missed. That did just blunder a big check and a fork of the king and the pawn. So that would have balanced the material. Under a minute for Austin. Offering the rook trade. Going for this pawn. Knight defends the pawn, attacks the rook. I would have considered going here. And that pawn is running. This bishop does a good job guarding the promotion square. That's a fork. But that's also going to be a fork. Check and promote is a threat. But the knight will be hanging. So this is not easy. Just a pawn push. Austin's getting low on time. Moves here, I'm curious. King steps up, so no more checks. Rook steps down. That wins the bishop. Probably would have skewered, but skewers the pawn instead. And yeah, this should be an easy win for black. Knight here, that's going to win the pawn. I guess you can go here, actually. No, knight takes with check would be even worse. Watch out for this fork. This pawn is gunner. And defends that pawn as well. Very smart. Only hope now is for a stalemate. We could see. Wow, what an interesting way to defend the rook. Check. Here, rook here. Hello. There is a check though. Didn't take. Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if we had attacked the knight. That would have been very interesting. There are always stalemating tricks, especially in time pressure. I mean, there's even mating ideas. Like, imagine the knight is here. That's mate. Ooh. Yeah, this is gonna be really good for black. The only way white could win is through a flag, honestly. Four seconds. 3, 2, 1. Check. Repeat. Oh, threefold. Knight blocks. But building up some time is always nice. So the king has no moves. Okay, now the king does have some moves. King comes out. There's no stopping the pawn. Very nice. Very nice technique here from Austin. We might see resigns now. Yeah. All right, well, Master of Sleep tried. Next game. Here we've got No Lex Null against the Legit Chicken. And looks like black is up a knight. So let's see. Maybe start giving some checks. Yeah, there's one check, and here you're going to get forked. That's actually forced. Hold on. Now that's mate? No? Is that not just checkmate? I think that's just checkmate. There it is. Beautiful. The Legit Chicken with a legit checkmate. All right, our leader, the Mona Lisa, let's see how they're doing. Looks like we've got a French. They're playing the Legit Chicken now. Bit of a rating mismatch. We've got a three-way tie for second. but Wits is just blowing down the competition thanks to these top two. Wits has 3 of the top 5 and 4 of the top 7 players. So they're doing great. They brought their A team today. Nihal Sarin's doing well. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you for the updates. I tuned in briefly earlier today, but didn't quite see. I saw Levon was playing. Levon obviously just won freestyle in Las Vegas, doing very well. Ahead of Hans, Magnus, Hikaru, etc. So, hope Levon's doing well again. I want to check in on the Rook of Sisyphus, our ambassador from Oregon State, I want to say, up against Dark Coffee, who I think is also an ambassador. Ooh, this looks like a fun move. Ooh, this move. This move is actually mate in 2. Well done from the Dark Coffee finding this. Nasty pawn mate with a queen trade. So let's move back. Thank you, Shadok. Welcome. All right, we've got GM Yamp versus Perseverance Malungana. Hope you're doing well, Shadok. Appreciate you. Good to see you. This pawn is hanging. This knight's hanging. This knight would also be hanging. And then that pawn might be hanging. But then that pawn might be trapped. Or caught. Or maybe defended. Dog, cat, dinosaur. Yeah, that was not ideal. But, you know, I got to tune into the people that we support. I support everyone, but it's not every day you get to see dog, cat, dinosaur playing in the weekly arena. Unless we turned it into a daily arena. Shadok, thanks for the follow. Yeah, Jolene is a common reference in my everyday life. Always being told not to steal someone's man. But sometimes it's hard not to. Watch you fumble next week. You should be playing right now. Alright, Rook of Sisyphus. Should we watch again? They're playing a stronger opponent, so maybe not. Maybe we'll wait. We've got Zola James repping the Beavers. He's got some 4 Knights Italian variation theory going on here. Oh my goodness, you guys. I'm always tired when I start these commentary streams. Especially, we made these arenas 90 minutes long this year. I mean, it's a bit of a compromise. Last year we did two a week, but I think it was only 1 hour. Ooh, this move can be risky. So yeah, we're watching Dog Cat Dinosaur's teammate this time, and they seem to be doing well. but they are a heavy rating favorite. Let's see. This pawn is hanging. This knight, though, whenever the knight is ahead of a pawn like this, it can be very scary. But there's always ways to bail out the knight, depending. Queen to g5, best move. This is what we call a fork. The Beavers are top 10 right now, so it's a good place to be. You want these points to add up because then you'll get some prizes at the end of the season. What all do I have to do? I still have to gift out memberships from the bullet prizes. We give top 3 in each division a membership. Plus, I haven't really heard back from many people from D1, which is where most of the memberships are. And then I have to double check the team chess battle registrations. Reminder, the team chess battle deadline is tomorrow to register. You need 2 players to make a team. The actual playoffs will start on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. I will not be there. I will be commentating. Or I will not be commentating, I should have said. But I have guest commentators lined up for that. So be aware, be careful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this game is turning. We had a good opening for black, for James. This should have been the move, by the way. Bishop to h3. You want to pile up on the rook. So bishop h3 would have been great. f6 also would have been very nice, I imagine. The computer says. But black took a step to defend this pawn. And now white has this opportunity, apparently like c3. Maybe to come here would be a very nice idea. But queen here, threatening this. Castles now. And now the move that should have been played is queen here. But takes here now. And James is still thinking. So the rooks are hit. So let's see what happens. Bishop a6 played. Top move. Threatening something devastating. All right. What does white have in store for this move? Doesn't seem like much, to be honest. The best move is, sadly, queen to e2. Devastatingly, actually. Ridiculously, if I had to tell you. And then after bishop takes, the best move is actually rook to g1. As ridiculous as that sounds. I think it sounds ridiculous. Because if the king takes, then you lose that guy, I guess. Anyways. Yeah, this is not a good opening for white. Almost got away with it if they had found queen f5. They play it now, but it's too late. So king b8 and then bishop to e3 is the move. Very interesting. But yes, knight takes going for the fork, and now you're losing. by a lot. Here, let's see. Here there's no queen e2 to sacrifice. So now it's even better for black. So white, they take a free rook. Why not? Let's say bishop or queen. I mean, this also works apparently, but this is a nice move. Nice, even better. Bishop e4 check, and now let's see James. Ooh, James finds mate in 2, but not mate in 1. But still, when you find mate in 1, they say look for better. Nice game there from James. Points on the board for the Beavers. Shout out to the former Pac-12. I don't know. I don't know what sports conference the Beavers are in now. Okay, let's check in. We've got two 1000s going at it. Wow, it tripled up here on the e-file. Thoughts on the London system? I'm not a fan personally. So be sure not to tell Brody, because Brody will be mad at me if he finds out. Okay. We've got white. White is they were up a bishop, but black decides to give up the queen for it and a rook. So it is now a queen versus a rook. Black has the rooks doubled on the e-file. Now, if white didn't also have a rook, this would be somewhat interesting. But white has a rook. So how interesting is this, truly? There goes a pawn. You can take that second pawn, by the way. Actually, I lied. You couldn't do that. I thought there'd be a back rank issue. But there are two rooks. Okay. That plan doesn't really work out like it did in my head. But not Magnet Carlson should be winning here. All right, that hits the rook. Okay, rook tucks away. And now the pawn storm. Brown Dante, are you a London player? I don't like d4 in general, honestly. I'm an e4 kind of guy. You would love to just go here and try to trade rooks, but that pawn would then be hanging. You could take that. But now it's not so good because then that other pawn will also be hanging. We're at about the halfway point here, and Witwatersrand is not slowing down. We've got a fight for second place, though, for sure, for the next three schools. Wilfrid Laurier ahead by 3 points from Canada. Then you've got Syracuse in New York. I'll be flying I almost booked a flight to Syracuse, but I didn't. Okay, now trying the rook d5 idea, but again, that's going to lose a pawn here. You do get one pawn, but black's going to get 2 pawns, which is greater than 1 pawn, which will be good for black in the long run. This is what we call a blunder, because now the rook is hanging. So black could have taken a pawn, but instead they lost a rook. Definitely not ideal. And this pawn's going to be hit yet again at some point coming soon. Black is in shock right now, but probably they should resign. Move on to the next game. There it is. Oh, abandoned. That's not good. but just on time. Just right on cue. Okay, games. We've got the Mona Lisa. Yeah, this is what we call a mismatch. This poor player from India getting some tough opponents. Let me see if I can find a closer game, shall we? There's a handful. All right. let's give Rook of Sisyphus their chance. Boom. Queen A5. Massive check. That's what we call a fork. Although, not sure. Ooh, there's an option here. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how much I should be commentating though, because I think Rook of Sisyphus may or may not be listening. But yeah, Bishop B4, maybe even stronger than taking a free bishop. And now White has a chance to save their bishop, but they're going to be losing their queen. So, nice opening here for Black. Should be able to convert this. We shall see. Knight takes C6 has just been played. We have the queen taken with check. And now Black's queen is what we call on pre, which means it's hanging. Two different ways, in fact. Queen steps aside, saving herself. White says, you know what, I'm not going to give up. I will continue the attack. I will fight on. Rook to the open C file, lining up potential discoveries. And this game it's not going to be super easy, but it's definitely very doable. Castle's kingside for both sides, keeping the kings relatively safe, which is always nice. Attacking the rook, rook attacks the knight, knight's got to move. And that's a fork. Yeah, rook to c8, probably not the best move dog cat dinosaur has ever made. King in the corner. There goes an exchange. White is continuing to fight on. You never know. You never know. Yeah, bishop blocks the rook trade, trying to keep some material on the board. So it's a rook versus a queen, basically, which we had just watched. Knight comes in, attacking the bishop logically. I'm wondering if the bishop can snag the a pawn, and I think it could. Because of Black's weak back rank. Instead, just pushes b4, just reinforcing the bishop. Black trades the minor pieces off. And white's going to get a connected pass pawn, supported by their rook. But black should be able to convert this. Not a problem. Black makes a fight square. Queen stepping in, flexing the power of the queen. Attacking two pawns. This pawn is very important, blockading both black's pawn and supporting white's pass pawn. That's a free pawn. We can take that if we so choose. And yeah, resigns there. So they had had enough. All right, let's see. Trying to find the next close game. Ooh. Take my Cheetos and hope in Iniesta. Almost flagged by Bornik, but 4 out of 4. Well done, the Nihal Sarin. Ooh, the king auto-castling. What school is Take My Cheetos representing? They're from Queens. Very nice. Wits, meanwhile, trying to get up to 100 points. Syracuse now in second, 3 points ahead of Wilfrid Laurier. And you've got Oregon State in in fourth place with 20 points. 1 point ahead of School of Planning and Architecture. Uh-oh. Okay, well, knight hits the queen, so queen probably has to move, right? Oh, we are getting moves. This is a mistake because a7 falls and this king is caught in no man's land. So black plays e5. And now what? Hits the knight. Whoa, what? Wait, I'm so sorry. This looked like white pre-moved it. But wow. I mean, I like the idea, but oh boy, that's rough. A miscalculation, I think. Or maybe just a mouse slip. But yeah, they needed to trade here first. Then their tactic worked because if takes, they had fork, which is really pretty way to win the queen. But obviously they messed up. So that was less than ideal for sure. Here you can just trade knights. You could do a lot of things. That's one of them. Queen should have moved, but oh my god. Oh my god, what a terrible mistake. And now white's winning. And that's a free queen. Ridiculous. Don't take here, by the way. That'd be hilarious, too. Take my Cheetos. I mean, crazy. Imagine this, that. That would also be crazy. Imagine that. Check, I like. I mean, this would also be crazy because of that. Here is being played 100%, and then don't go here because you'll get mated. Yeah, so king here. Check, but that's gonna not work out. Another check. King goes back. Black's trying everything, but I mean they lost a queen, so take my Cheetos should win this, despite being the underdog by 2 elo. We've got 34 minutes left in the arena here. We're at 39 players. Can we get to 40 players by the end? We shall see. Yeah, a lot of beginner Syracuse players. You love to see it. We had Libro from Rutgers. That's gonna be a big check. Maybe. Okay, that looks like a free queen. No, it's a pin. So that's going to be free knight for white. And there we see the resignation. We've got Suko from McGill. Ooh, Oregon State tied. Wilfrid Laurier and Northern Illinois also tied. Meanwhile, in the standings, all three top 3 players are from Witwatersrand. All doing very well. Let's see. Let's just watch. We've got the Mona Lisa #1 seed versus Blackhawk. Who is just under 2,200. So 2 top players here. Mona Lisa, 9 in a row. Can they get 10 in a row here? This would be the game. This would be the game to do it. Knight comes out. Okay, look at these bishops. All in a cube. Looking for a trade. We'll see. There's one trade. Interesting. I would bring it in. Yeah. Queen G3 has just been played. I don't see any threats with this move. The queen looks very scary here, though. Okay, knight takes. But now maybe knight takes, pawn take. I don't know. You're not taking back with a rook, though. Bishop takes maybe is also good. Pawn takes. This pawn will be falling, though. But maybe there's like knight here. Yeah, knight there, and then here I thought maybe we could take on f3. Yeah, Mona Lisa agrees with me. So, queen trade offered. Yeah, takes. Now, this is... okay. That's maybe a little bit of a fork. You're playing Eden. That's not good for you. But we saw you get a win. Ooh, look at that. Tactics. as always. So Mona Lisa's breaking through, making progress here. Under 30 minutes to go. Rook steps back, defending the other rook, unpinning the pawn. The damage is done. The rook pivots all the way to the h-file, looking to snag some more materials. King steps up, defending the pawn. Rook steps back, trying to get access. Maybe trying to double on the e-file. Also a good idea. Ooh, takes with check. Definitely now looking great for black. Ooh, an exchange sack. Very nice, because this is a fork. However, key details are missed. I would start with this, for sure. If you start with this, you're going to get hit with that. Maybe you have this then. And then that. Interesting. There's one check. Yeah, the king should have tried attacking the other rook. Now stepped up and is getting checked here. So the knight's fork was in vain. And now the knight's pinned. And the knight is also threatened. I mean, when this move is played, it's good to know there's an escape, but after this move is played, you can tell. Yeah, trying to trade rooks is very smart and now resigns. So Mona Lisa gets 10 in a row, adopts the college chess pool. We do have up to 40 players now, still less than 30 minutes to go. We've got David representing Brazil. Let's try to find another game, shall we? What did I want to look at? Maybe we look at Zola again. Cheering on the teammate of the dog cat dinosaur. Also, teammate of Remy. Shout out to Remy. I feel like this is a move. Not so much. Okay. White declines the queen trade, takes a pawn. May or may not regret it. Let's see how black reacts. The c pawn is hanging, by the way. So now it's not hanging anymore. I like white here, for sure. Computer says it's pretty even, but I think white's easier to play, or at least faster to play. I like this move, developing the other rook, attacking that same pawn. Now black can try to save it, but instead they go for a5. Looking to trade, we see one trade accepted. Pawn for pawn. Rook takes. Okay, black steps up the queen, connecting with the rook. There goes the c-pawn. So now white's just up a pawn, but should be a draw with perfect play. But neither of these players are perfect. Nobody is. Black doubles rooks on the a-file. Maybe there's something to get at on the second. White hits the queen with the rook. The black queen steps back. Let's see. Zola, what do you guys think? Can they win? Can they lose? Or will it be a draw? I think in theory it should be a draw, but in practice, you never know. White looks like they have some tricks up their sleeves. Ooh. Yeah, I like this move from White, looking to win the queen and win the game. But the computer says this ain't it. Here, very interesting. Rook here, and that's it. So Zola cracks under the pressure. That is checkmate. And now the Mona Lisa up against Caprican. Witwatersrand passed 100 points, which is huge. I think that's more points than Syracuse got in the last 2 weeks combined. We have a trade in the center. Let's see. Let's try to find another game. Here's one. Jay Calam versus Dark Coffee. Yeah, I see Rook. Rook is up against Eden. Okay. Barely any time for White. Black is crushing this. Black is crushing this game. For sure. Insomnia. Thanks for the follow. That's how I feel right now. What else could I look at? Shout out to the Big Schnitzel who played in the Bullet tournament the other day. Here, let's watch this one. This one should be close rated. David versus Melissa Bia. Brazil versus South Africa. So, yeah, White is up 2 pawns and an exchange, but they haven't developed a rook from the corner. That being said, I think White should win this one fairly easily. The knight is getting kicked. Lots of trades in the center are being proposed. Syracuse is getting a bit more of a lead for second place. Wilfred Laurier comfortably in third, up by 8 points against LCM Toro, who's only up by 1 between 2 different schools, NIU and Oregon State. Ooh, lots more trades coming in here. But as Black trades off more material, the harder it will be for them to make a comeback. So, yeah, you don't want to take that pawn with the knight because the knight is pinned. You take with a rook, and now White has their bishop open up with a threat of checkmate, which you don't want to blunder. So, F5 defends the mate with the queen. Very nice. And now White says, all right, let's just get this rook off the board, shall we? Let's just trade. 3 minutes for David. Okay, queen gets out of the pen, so the knight's free. So now if you take the rook, knight takes with tempo, hitting the queen. And then maybe Black wins the bishop. So White does not trade rooks, instead just brings the bishop back. Pawn push. I was thinking, what if rook here, rook g4? Then what? Okay, very interesting. Yeah, this bishop is hanging in lines. F4 played. Queen to H3. Another trade offered. And resigns. I was going to say, if you didn't want to trade, you could still keep fighting. But white defenses got... Or white... Actually, white could have just traded. That's why black resigned. This was a bigger blunder. Trade, and then the other rook falls. So let's move on to the next game. Mona Lisa's at 11 in a row. Looking for 12 in a row. Shouldn't be a surprise. Here's some players we haven't looked at. The Big Schnitzel played in the Bullet Championship and is now playing against someone from South Africa, Malacco. Yeah, shout out to South Africa. They're almost 3 times ahead Syracuse. And they're looking for those membership prizes for sure. I don't think anyone's going to catch Mona Lisa in first for the individuals. "18 minutes. Lots of pressure on this knight. Big Schnitzel's turn. Okay, there's a ton of clubs with 25 points. D5 played. Pawn stepping up, blocking the bishop's view of the long diagonal. I think the plan is simple. Bring the queen in. Are you not scared? Maybe you should be. If you go here, you can get blocked. But if you go here, you get a direct view. 1 minute 50 from Malacco, Emmanuel. Queen here. The idea is simple. Queen here, though, blocking, right? Just as I had said. Now, if you go here, guess what? You can get blocks from going in. Also, the knight hits this. I forgot about that. So if I had went here immediately, and then knight here, I'm actually less sure. Ooh, pawn push, trade, takes, and then what? Here or here? Definitely don't want to go here. Real big pawn storm, but real big diagonal. Queen and bishop lined up, threatening plethora of mates. So how would you block this? Maybe rook here, I guess. Doesn't seem great either, to be honest. But you have to not get mated. That is a requirement in the game of chess. Otherwise, you'll lose. You could also just lose. No. Pawn push, but queen takes. We're not threatening mate, though. We're threatening that, whatever that would have led to. Probably mate. Actually, it was like a mate in 2. This is a great move because white's just busted. So this rook is defending mate. remove the rook, and you'll get your mate. Computer's saying this is forced mate in 5. Great start here for the black side of things. Big schnitzel showing the big eval. Less than 20 seconds for both players. Hitting the queen here. I would give the old rook check. Takes here is also pretty nice, actually, because you're forced to play here and you're forced to mate it next. So this was nicer than what I had in store, it seems. Maybe queen here was also good, but okay. Oh, I thought they were gonna flag, but nope, they give up the checkmate. All right, less than 15 minutes to go. Time enough for at least another game, I suppose. And wow, Wilfred Laurier catching up to Syracuse, now tied for second. Let's see if I can find some Canadian games, shall we? Ooh, this one's close game. Master of Sleep versus Acharya. Rook hitting the knight. Yeah, I'd say this is looking good for white, right? There's tactics. Rook lift for white. Interesting way of getting the pieces involved. This should be good for white. I don't know. But Master of Sleep, streamer, as we all know. I wanted to watch maybe Eden. Eden is at 10 out of 11, but they lost one in between, so they only have a streak of 4. Mona Lisa has lost one, but they lost their very first game. I'm assuming to Eden Assassin. Games. Where are my Canadians at? Is it just Eden Assassin? No, there's Sprout God. Sprout God should get a win. And yeah, Eden Assassin's up against Austin. Okay, rook up. This pawn is not hanging. It's defended backwards. Can we give this? Can we do that? Please? Oh, computer doesn't like it. I want to do it, though. I wish I could be the Master of Sleep. Okay, this is threatening mate. Just a heads up. For those of you curious. So that blocked the mate. This is a great night, by the way. Can we do this, please? I don't know. That also seems strong. Queen comes in, hits the knight. Yeah, I like the knight here, I think, but okay. Because, you know, you could have done some cool stuff, maybe. Maybe. Who am I to know? 10 minutes to go, folks. 10 minutes. Wilfred Laurier taking the number 2 spot from Syracuse. Northern Illinois taking the number 4 spot, trailed by LCM Toro. And Oregon State. Oregon State's in the top 10, but they're not in the top 5. So if they get one more spot, they can get an extra membership prize. Can they do it? They're down by 8 points, though. Lots of thought going on here. This pawn is defended. Black perhaps looking at ways to get their own attack going, logically. Black just hitting the queen. Doesn't like the queen there. Also makes sense. Queen's gonna have to move. And where to will this queen move? Back to a5? No, here. And the same rook comes back to question the queen. So maybe the queen will have to find a new home in order for this game to continue. Master of Sleep is up over 2 minutes and seems to be up a pawn as well. So that's looking good. I like White's knight on f5. This is such a great piece, hitting everything near the king. But if you don't have coordination with that piece, you don't have time, then it's going to be hard to win. And they definitely don't have time. Less than 20 seconds now for Acharya from Nepal. Queen back, and now Master of Sleep. Do they play for the draw? Yes, it seems they do. No, they changed plans. Hitting the queen with the knight now. Wow, knight check. King steps aside, and now there's only one good move. Queen back to d4, and that was missed. And now it's black that's winning. A handful of different ways. 4 seconds. Yeah, it's hard to play here. That was a blunder, because now the rook is taken. And now you can trade queens, which they do. Can't complete. Yeah, there's less than 10 minutes to go, but it's so early for you guys. Thanks for playing. I'm sorry it's so late. Knight takes hits the rook. You were playing very well. You were playing good games from what I saw. Dark coffee. But yeah, I hope you can sleep well. Okay, watch out for this massive fork. Also, I feel like I need a nap. There goes a pawn. Yeah, Acharya should just mop this up. Also, just saying this now, if anyone's playing in the team chess battle this weekend, please note that I will be out that weekend. So if you have questions, you should message in the channel where other people can see. You don't want to send me DMs, that's for sure. So anyways, we have resignation there. Acharya gets the win. There's 6 minutes left. Syracuse is down by 6 points for second place. NIU might try to catch Syracuse. They're only trailing by 4 points. LCM Toro trailing NIU by 4 points. And you've got Oregon State trailing by 10 points. So unlikely for them to get top 5, but they're definitely still in the top 10, which is good for them. Here we got 2 players in their 1500s. The legit chicken and the big schnitzel. Take care, Dark Coffee. Thanks for playing. There's a check. King should step up. Oh, but if you step up, you're getting massive forked. So what does that mean? Go here? Or if you go... Yeah, here, and you're going to have to block like this. This is a little brutal. There's this. What else is there? Oh, no. Yeah, maybe that. Ooh, sacking the exchange. Ah, but you get the minor piece. Yes. Look at these tactics from the legit chicken. That's a free knight, as we call it. Unfortunate. A check, but a simple block, and this is resignable. Now this pawn will fall. Taking with the queen is an interesting choice. 1 second. Knight here, maybe. Oh, don't do that. That'd be funny. But you can do that. This also is probably pretty good. Probably that's mate. Yeah. Well done to the legit chicken. Not blundering mate. 3 minutes to go. Not really enough time for a game. Let's check in with the Eden Assassin here. Resigns. Austin wins. Wow, that's a big upset in terms of rating difference. There goes a streak from Eden Assassin. Wow. Let's check in on this game here. Looks like White's threatening a checkmate. That's not good. Or wait, yeah. Black has 1 second as well. I don't think they're going to find a defense. They couldn't find a move, so they flag. 2-minute warning now. And that's checkmate. Well done to David. But this little time left in the arena, there's definitely stalling tactics. So you could just sit on your game and let the clock wind down. Here we got Zola versus Etza. Etza does not have enough time to stall. And this is going to be checkmate. So 5 seconds. White has a few checks maybe to give, but black has mate in 1 here. Zola's been doing well when we've tuned in, but okay. Didn't find mate in 1, but they might find a flag. That's a nice check, because if the king moves, you win the queen. And now you have mate many different ways. There you have it. So shout out to the Beavers. The chicken is getting stalled against. 30 seconds to go. All right, let's check in with Rook of Sisyphus. I mean, you could play this game. This game wasn't gonna finish anyways, so it's not too bad. So yeah, final standings. Wilfred Laurier, second. Witwatersrand from South Africa, first place. Third, you've got Syracuse. Ooh, LCM Toro trailing by 1 point and NIU trailing by 1 point behind them. But there were no last second draw offers, so those standings will remain. So shout out to Witwatersrand from South Africa. A dominant performance today. First place by a lot. Over doubled the points from second place. In second place, we've got Wilfred Laurier from Canada. And then from the US, we've got Syracuse all the way up in New York. Also, I think from New York, LCM Toro Chess Club trailing by 1 point. And then top 5, we have Northern Illinois University. And then 6th place, we've got Oregon State. 7th, we've got Minnesota State. 8th place, School of Planning and Architecture, all the way from India. And then we have Kathmandu, I believe from Nepal. And Queens College rounds out the top 10. Shout out as well to Appalachian State, University of Houston, University of Rochester, and McGill University. So at least 15 universities represented. Thanks everyone that played. And I will see you all not this weekend, but next week. So a week from today, we'll have our 4th weekly prize arena, and that's going to be our second to last arena of the summer. But this weekend, we will be live commentating again, but not with me. It's going to be with some of my friends from UCLA. Shout out to WCM Yasun, as well as Blood Queen, who should be joining in the commentating booth. But if you're all playing this weekend, best of luck to you all. And again, I won't be around, so make sure to put your questions either by email to ccl@chess.com or in the Discord server through the Ask Staff channel. You can create a ticket or put it in the help channels. Otherwise, if you send me a DM, I might not be able to see it or respond to it in time. Thanks, everyone. Let's stick around for the raid, and I will see you all next week. Bye.